Hey, Brandon here. Welcome to the channel and thanks for tuning in. Welcome to week 5 of the Future Fantasy Devy Stock Report. Each and every week I'll be dropping a show just like this one, talking about your favorite Devy and C2C players, guys that we project to go to the NFL possibly in the future. My podcast co-host and I, Jason DiRienzo, we're going to give you 6 players today. This is a recording from our podcast, so if you're a podcast listener, check out our podcast as well at Devy to Dynasty Football Podcast. We're going to talk about 4 stock up Devy players and 2 stock down players. So enjoy the show. All right, let's get to our Devy stock report, Jason. Let's get right to it, man. It's we got, again, the same format as in the past. It is week 5 edition. We have 2 stock up players and 1 stock down. I'm going to kick us off here. And how can we not talk about Marion Miller from Colorado, right? Had just a phenomenal game. His first game of his career, true freshman. Had 7 receptions, 196 yards, and 1 TD. Big game against USC, and he just put his name on the map. I actually put a video out on the channel, and it got over 13,000 views in like 6 days. So, wow. It was pretty cool. So I cut up his film, put it out there. I had to take a look. There was so much buzz after this game about this kid. 6'2", 195 pounds. He was a 3-star prospect, ranked 51st in the 2023 wide receiver class. So for us guys playing Devy C2C, I mean, he wasn't somebody that probably was on the radar on a lot of players, being so buried on 24/7 sports. But here he is, his first opportunity on a national game, big stage, and the kid killed it. And I liked what I saw. He's got short area burst and acceleration. I liked his elusiveness, and his yak ability was fantastic. And he had good high point, the way he high pointed the ball, good tracking, his body control and concentration. His touchdown pass required a lot of concentration. He was coming across the end zone, and there was a DB right in front of him, and the DB kind of missed the ball and it went right through his hands, but then it came into his hands. That just showed me how much concentration and poise that this young man had on national TV. You think about how young these kids are, and he comes out and does that. And then his last reception of the game, it's a fantastic 2 feet in toe tap sideline grab, showing the body control and the concentration, the strong hands. I mean, it was an amazing catch. So go check out the channel, go check out the film. I did a spotlight film as well as a full highlight film on a Marion Miller, but I just put in for him in C2C waivers in 2 or 3 leagues. So, in fact, my phone just blew up, and in my one league, waivers went through at 9:00 at night here on Wednesday, and I'm really hoping I bid a lot of money for the guy. So I'm hoping I got him. But Omari Miller is my first stock up player. Go check it out. Go check out his highlight film on the channel.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun to watch, and hopefully it continues.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go over to my next Devy riser, and I'm gonna go with 2nd-year Boise State running back Ashton Genty. And man, this kid just continues to pile on the production. Last season, he had over 800 yards rushing. This season, already in just 5 games, he's almost at 500 yards rushing with 8 touchdowns on the ground. He's got 24 receptions for 347 yards as a receiver. So he is definitely that versatile dual threat, if you want to call it, through the air and on the ground type of running back, listed at 5'8", 206 pounds. So he does, and you see it, he's got that lower center of gravity. He's got that thicker build. But the athleticism is there too. I like the speed that I see. He's hurdling defender. He's running up the middle. He has enough juice to get to the outside. So there's a lot to like here. And man, if he keeps putting up these numbers, we've seen it before with the Doug Martins and everything. Boise State can produce some NFL running backs. So keep Genty on your radar.
I like it. We're going to get some films on him on the channel as well. Make some notes here on that. So my second stock up player I want to talk about is Brian Thomas Jr. from LSU, wide receiver. He is a junior, 6'4", 205 pounds. Had just a fantastic game. We spoke about it here earlier on the podcast. 8 for 124 and 3 touchdowns against Ole Miss. And he is draft eligible, so he could be actually on our 2024 stock report show. But he might come back to LSU for his senior year. But a lot to like watching this film, man. He had 2 slot fade pattern touchdowns in this game against Ole Miss, going up with the body control, high pointing it, hand fighting, and going up and getting that ball. But I think what stood out to me watching his film from like a scouting standpoint was his acceleration off the line was really impressive. And I love his athleticism. There were two like comeback routes that he had, and then he kind of turned up field and just left the DBs in the dust. I mean, even from a lateral standpoint, going horizontal to get around the DB and then the acceleration down the sideline. He's a thinner frame guy at 6'4", 205, but I'll tell you, you watch it, he's got the ball skills. Impressive, man. He's emerging in front of our eyes. Malik Neighbors is the wide receiver one, but I'll tell you what, keep an eye on Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, he's making some noise, and if he continues the production that he is, he could potentially go to the NFL draft this year. If not, he's going to be a stud next year.
Yeah, I agree. He looked great in this game. My next guy is going to be Jordan James, second-year running back out of Oregon, and he is filling in for Noah Whittington right now, and he's doing a great job. We talk about Bucky Irving all the time, and speaking of Bucky Irving, he did great in that game against Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I was kind of really blown away by him. But yeah,
Good.
Jordan James, another guy who just kind of is standing out, a younger running back. Like I said, he's second year, but finally getting his opportunity, a former four-star. He's got pretty decent size at 5'10", 205 pounds. Could probably add another 5 or 10 pounds to his frame. But I really like the acceleration that he has, the initial burst. I saw great juice from him going to the perimeter. I didn't even think he was going to be able to make it to the perimeter, and pleasantly surprised that not only did he make it, but he was able to get right up the red line too. So that was nice to see, and just navigates the trenches really well, finds the open lanes, and gets pretty good yards. So Jordan James to me is a guy that, once Bucky Irving and Noah Whittington move on, we're going to be looking for who's going to be that next Oregon running back. And I think Jordan James is going to be that guy. So because of that, he's definitely on the rise.
I like it. That's a great call. Really good call. So, all right, those are our 4 stock up players. So let's talk about each of our stock down players. And I'm going to talk about Riley Leonard. Okay, Duke quarterback, 6'4", 212 pounds. He is a true junior. This Notre Dame game, Jason, was the game that I was going to say is either going to hurt Riley Leonard. Now I know he got dinged up with his ankle, and I think
literally got hurt.
So. Yeah, he did. But before that, he really struggled. I mean, I just did not see. I mean, he had a completion percentage of 44%. He was 12 for 27, 134 yards, 1 TD, 1 pick. Now, going into the season, he was somebody that I was looking at his film from last year that I was excited about. And I actually remember watching a YouTube video and an interview with him, and he was talking about all of this NFL draft talk was very surprising to him. And I'm wondering if just the pressure of all that isn't getting to him. But the expectations were high coming into the season. So I'm going to project, and he's in my Devy stock report and not the 2024, draft report, because I think he's going to definitely come back next year. I just don't think he is going to come and get what he thinks he's going to get the draft capital. But we love this kid for his rushing ability. I mean, he had 8 for 98 yards and 1 TD. So as we know, the NFL just loves these guys who can run. But in the end, when you play in the NFL, you have to be able to pass the ball, whether or not you're a statue back there or you are mobile. And right now he's just struggling. I don't know if it's confidence or not, but given the competition level, I was expecting more production and some more wow moments, and I haven't seen them. So he's going to be my stock down player this week, hoping that, at the rest of this year, he gets over his ankle sprain, and next year he can build up his draft stock again.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. I mean, I never saw him as a passer, and I think we were all just hoping for that development this year. Mm-hmm. And now he's got the high ankle sprain. It's definitely going to hold back that development, which is unfortunate. But I'm going to go follow up right with you and go to the quarterback position. I'm going to talk about Carson Beck as my stock down guy. And yeah, it's almost frustrating because it's set up so perfectly for him. All he had to do was just kind of put together a resume within these first couple of games showing that he's just more than just a game manager and just can get the ball to his best receiver. I mean, that's great and all, but I want to see a guy who elevates the talent around him. I want to see a guy who has the it factor, when the play breaks down? Are you able to, extend the play with your legs and, make some big time throws? And I'm just not seeing that from him. You talked about how the NFL likes the runners. Well, he's not even a runner, and I'm questioning his ability as a not really as a
Passer.
passer. I mean, he's a decent passer. He's got a 109 passer rating this season, which is fine. But I just expected a lot more, especially when he's already got the size and everything else. So for me, definitely maybe it's my personal expectation of bias that I'm frustrated because I wanted more. He's definitely a stock down for me.
Yeah, two quarterbacks who most likely are going to come back for their senior years, which is probably a good thing. Most of it, I mean, because you think of the Bo Nixes and the Penixes and all these guys that have been in college for 4 years, they're the ones getting all the draft buzz talk. That experience in college you need, and both of these guys are young that need just more reps in college.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
So, all right, there you guys got it. Those are our 6 Devy Stock Report players for Week 5 of college football.